Welcome to the channel, everyone. My name is Nick. For those that are new to the channel, hopefully by the end of this video, you do become a subscriber. So Hedera has been making some great moves, as you guys are probably already aware of from my previous videos. But we still haven't seen price action, stabilize and ultimately have a nice uptrend form because of the tariff discussions. Now, I do expect HBAR to actually perform very well this year. We just have to weather the storm right now. But I also believe that Hedera is becoming a much bigger piece of, not only crypto, but also Web 2. I think that Hedera is starting to clear a path into connecting to billions of users. Now, I think that's a little bit too early to say that this is 100% confirmed or anything like that, but it looks as though Hedera is working with some pretty heavy hitters. But first, I do want to talk about a few things happening around Hedera. And what better way to start this video than to actually spotlight the fact that Hedera is seeing a massive amount of development activity. We actually have here top projects by development activity growth, and we see Arbitrum at 1,650% and Hedera in the number 2 spot with over 1,385%. This is insane, especially when we compare it to Axelar or even the XRP Ledger, Uniswap, Chia Network. I mean, these are some very big projects out there, and Hedera is absolutely killing it. Now, we could also see that Hedera, if we actually zoom in, we could see the development activity and then the development activity growth in the last 30 days. Now, it looks as though I think that this is 203. I want to say that that's 203 activities from the development side. But guys, I've been talking about the development activity on Hedera for a while because you could actually track that on DeFi Llama, and the overall dev activity, the contributions that developers are making towards Hedera as well is off the chart compared to even Ethereum, which this is very good to see. It means that there is building and growth happening behind the scenes of Hedera, even though, yeah, price action sucks. And I'll be the first one to tell you guys that price action does suck. I hate to see it, but we have to get through it. And I've seen this many times over. It is just one part of the overall cycle of crypto. But outside of this, I also saw a big update from MICA Crypto Alliance. We're pleased to announce the official launch of the MICA Crypto Alliance taking place in Paris on April 9th. And this is going to be an invite-only event. It will bring together policymakers, legal and regulatory experts, and Web3 professionals to discuss practical approaches to MICA compliance. Now, what's crazy about this is backed by Hedera, Ripple, Aptos, and a few others. But the main thing is that Hedera is on this list next to some of the biggest names around this space, like Ripple. And we have over here from, the actual X account for MICA. We see that they've been a part of some pretty big events so far this year. And the number one thing that I want to focus on is their goal, right? Like their mission statement. The MICA Crypto Alliance is a collaborative initiative established by the DLT Science Foundation designed to streamline and enhance compliance with the markets and crypto assets MICA regulation. Supported by its members, including Layer 1 and Layer 2 protocols and exchanges, the Alliance fosters uniformity and comparability in white paper content and sustainability indicators. By coordinating these efforts, the Alliance reduces compliance costs and ensures high standards across the industry, providing members with exclusive access to advanced tools and resources for sustainability assessment and white paper development. And we have the founding members here. We have Hedera, Ripple, and Aptos being the founding members. And then new members are hodler, sorry. And here's their mission. And we see the full breakdown, what they're solving for. I just think that this is great. The number one thing that I want you guys to realize is the key players in this space, like the winners that will be around for the next 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 plus years, are now collaborating together. Ripple and Hedera are starting to converge in a huge way, which I am very excited about because I have been talking about Ripple, XRP, and also Hedera for so long. And now we're seeing these two really kind of converging on a lot of great initiatives like this one. And this is for the future of this entire industry. And as we really kind of think about the future of this space, it all really, starts with compliance and regulation. So I love to see this. I'm very excited about it. And outside of that, we also have DeFi Llama. So we know how big the DeFi space is. It has taken a big hit recently. We're down to 95, almost $96 billion. By the way, we were hitting roughly like 140 billion back in December. Our actual all-time high here is about roughly almost 175, 180 billion dollars back in 2021. And if I do remember, I believe that this actually did hit at some point in time over $200 billion. I might be wrong. But we can see how big the hit actually is that this is taking. We're back to levels that we haven't really seen since going back to roughly like November. But I do think that this is going to bounce back. But the reason why I want to show you guys that, yes, the DeFi space is taking a big hit is because Hedera's DeFi side also is taking a massive hit. But this is because of the entire market sell-off. This is because of the market having a rough state right now. But the thing that I really want to focus on here, and by the way, for those that, want to track anything about like developers and stuff like that, if you actually go over to the chains list, I remember that this was showing us the dev activity, but it looks like they kind of changed this up a little bit since the last time that I was looking into this, but you used to be able to track dev activity. I don't know why they changed that. But regardless of that, if we actually look at the DEX volume here, we could see the DEX volume has been kind of slowing down. But we still recorded a pretty good month in March at about $416 million. In terms of the actual chain fees, this has been slowly but surely staying around like $60,000, which I would love to see a lot more fees. And app revenue. App revenue has been almost completely flat. So I like to see the dev activity kicking up. I would love to see that really kind of start to, push into app revenue, new apps, major expansion of the ecosystem. So and by the way, I do expect that to happen. It's just going to be, a little bit of time until we actually start to see a lot of that dev activity lead into major, initiatives on the network. But also, I do want to say stablecoins on Hedera have been growing rapidly, over $80 million. We just recently talked about how this was at 70 million, and that did not take long to add an additional 10 million to the Hedera ecosystem. So we love to see that. But the reason why I bring up DeFi on Hedera is because of the recent announcement with Chainlink. This was actually on the Genfinity IO podcast. So big shout to Generation Infinity, but we have discovered how Chainlink is turbocharging adoption in the Hedera DeFi ecosystem, empowering lending and borrowing on the Bonzo Finance, the largest lending protocol on Hedera. Now, again, the huge focus here is that I love to see Bonzo Finance being spotlighted, number one. Number two, I love to see Hedera DeFi, becoming a big deal. But number three, and probably the most important one of them all, is the fact that Chainlink is behind this. Why is that? Well, it's because Chainlink is a massive giant in this space, over 1.2 million followers, and they are the largest oracle in this space with over $29 billion in value secured. Also, by the way, the total perp DEX volume secured in the last 30 days is over $20 billion. Chainlink is a massive giant. But on top of that, you got to remember back in 2020, in the DeFi summer, Chainlink was one of the biggest winners. So the fact that they are working with Hedera on this initiative, I love to see that. And I think that this is going to be very beneficial for Hedera. Now, again, I want to talk about the big deal, right? Which is the fact that Hedera could soon have billions of users tapped in. And how would that happen? Well, recently, the HBAR Foundation put out this post on X, and it was just the TikTok logo. And a lot of people were kind of confused on what this meant until we got this announcement from Cointelegraph. And this was in like the span of like 15 minutes. So we have big. OnlyFans founder Tim Stokely's startup Zoop has partnered with the HBAR Foundation to submit a late stage bid to acquire TikTok from ByteDance. Now, do I think that they're going to acquire TikTok? I don't believe so. And I know that this is going to like completely shamble the argument for how, Hedera could target billions of users. But I want to take a step back real quick. Okay. This is probably just a bid to get the name out there around Hedera, to really kind of focus on Zoop and what Hedera is doing. People will probably look into both of them because this is going to start some mainstream headlines. But the main thing here is that TikTok does have over 1.12 billion monthly active users worldwide. Okay. The revenue in 2024 was about $10 billion. We know that there's a lot of users on TikTok making massive amounts of money, but think about the fees that are getting taken away from creators as well. Now, I bring this up because, again, TikTok has hit 1.12 billion monthly active users, and this did not take a lot of time. Like, the actual launch of TikTok really started, back in, like, if we actually look at this, I think it was like 2020 when the big push on TikTok happened. But this app itself really was around for a bit of time. But from 2020 to now, TikTok has witnessed a massive amount of growth. You could see from 2020 to 2021, it surged over almost 500 million users. It's been around since about 2018, but the fact that it grew that fast in that short amount of time shows you how quick things could change. Now, I bring this up because of Zoop, okay, which is the name tied back to, this potential acquisition, which, again, I don't know, and I don't really believe that they will acquire TikTok. It would be huge if they did. But Zoop is a game changer because this is a social mega app, essentially. So it's basically like, TikTok or X or anything like that. But it's for creators, members, and brands. It's very similar to Galaxy, right? Galaxy is also launched on Hedera, really kind of targeting the same exact thing here, where you can connect, earn, and thrive. But the actual share here for creators is 80% to creators, which means Zoop is only taking about 20%, which is huge compared to platforms like YouTube. Right now, you're watching YouTube, and guess what? The ad split is 50-50. Google takes 50% of all revenue that creators do earn, which is wild. Okay, so the fact that Zoop is absolutely killing it, and they're still kind of small, but they have over 80,000 plus followers. Ad revenue, right? We have here sharing 80% of ad revenue with creators and fans, 60-40. So even fans that are watching creators do get a 40% split, which is huge. No spam, 100% earnings, 80% cash, 20% Zoop tokens. Max earnings, market opportunity in terms of 500 plus billion total addressable market by 2027, 80 to 125 million global creators, fans earn too, loyalty rewards, and mass adoption. Listen, if we are thinking about a lot of these platforms, all it really takes is one big Web3 platform like Zoop or Galaxy, for an example, to catch on and target hundreds of millions of users, leading into the rise that TikTok did have as well. And the reason why I say that is just imagine being a watcher of somebody's YouTube channel or watching someone on TikTok supporting a creator that you love and getting paid for it. That would be an absolute game changer. Like, imagine if YouTube actually gave that additional 50% that they were taking from creators to their fans. It would be huge. And it would also keep the fan base engaged in a huge way. I think that this is what's going to be setting, the stage for Web3 applications like Zoop or Galaxy to rise above YouTube, TikTok, etc. But the reason why I think that this could be big is that if they do win this acquisition, I assume that Zoop will probably, be integrated within TikTok. Hedera will be integrated within TikTok. And you'll start to see the same exact benefits here, that you're seeing with Zoop on TikTok. They might even rebrand TikTok to Zoop. It would be kind of crazy to see, but it would be an immediate 1+ billion users tapped in. Now, again, what's the chances of this? Probably pretty low, but I do expect that Hedera and also Zoop will have their name really kind of showcased here in a big way, which will lead to a lot more people finding out about what Hedera is doing, what Zoop is, and I think that might be the play here. We don't really know what's going to happen with this, but I'll definitely keep a close eye out on this as we do start to see more updates. But so far, this is basically the only one that we have, but it is a big update. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys definitely leave a like, subscribe, to notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.